we got here as quick as we can. But we're having a blast so far, man. We're so happy to be here with you guys.
Well, welcome. So guys, can you tell us a bit about how you got started as a band?
Well, you know, we grew up in the 90s, baby. So we grew up listening to all the metal from the 90s, like bands like Korn, Slipknot, Rage Against the Machine, and then also the drummer's my actual brother. So, you know, we've been playing together for a long time, and then Mike has been our guitar player. Mike has been our guitar player since 2005, growing up in different high school projects. So
we've all been together for a pretty long time, all together.
Thanks, guys. So growing up together, did you guys listen to a lot of similar music? Could you tell us about some of your influences?
I think like we're from New Jersey, so obviously when the band first started, we were going to a lot of the like local underground metal shows, hardcore shows. So we pulled a lot of influence from being at those concerts for so long. But I think like we all love music so much that we listen to everything from like movie soundtracks to metal to classic rock. I think we're a little bit of everything, and I think like if you ask us who our biggest influence is, we're always gonna say something different because we listen to a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, since we've all been playing together for so long, there's been so many different genres and then just different styles of music that we've all listened to. We've all really grown up playing in all different styles of music. So, just like Ryan was saying, if you guys do ask us, everyone's always got something else to say. But we're all huge music lovers, and we kind of branch out a little bit. So,
yeah, like I wish we could be like, this is the band that inspired us. But really, if you love music, you like everything, right? And I think that's how you're gonna make a great album, is like appreciating a little bit of everything. So I feel like that's it. It's like just growing up from the 90s till now, your taste will always change, and you know, we're a little bit of everything. So yeah.
Thank you, guys. So you guys have been on a lot of tours, especially all around the United States. Could you talk about some of your favorite tours, or maybe some crazy experiences you had on tour?
Yeah, so we first started touring, like it took a long time to get the band on the road, you know, to finally find an agent and tour the country. It takes a lot of hard work to get there. So in 2017, we got signed and we started touring full time. And so our manager said, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to tour in a bus, or do you want to tour in a van? So of course we said, we want to go on a bus, like come on. So the catch was, it wasn't our bus, it was us with another band, and it was their bus. So we were able to go on the tour and be a part of this tour on a bus. So now we finally get to the Rocky Mountains, which is obviously very rocky, and the bus driver became frightened to drive the bus. So we were left without a driver, so our tour manager at the time decided to drive the bus. So he had no experience with being, you know, driving a huge Eagle bus. So now we're leaving Denver, and we're coming down the Rocky Mountains, and our bus loses its brakes. And when I tell you, this is probably our 4th show into ever touring, we're all looking at each other like, what the heck? Is this how we're gonna go out? Like, this is it, guys. So we're on this Eagle bus, we're going down the Rocky Mountains with no brakes. Everybody's screaming, and just somehow our tour manager cut the bus, and we didn't flip, we didn't crash into a mountain. So, I mean,
you know, it was one of those things, if any of you guys here have ever had those experiences in life where it almost felt like almost like a near-death experience, it was one of those moments. So we had a kind of an interesting trip there. Once the bus driver, which was really our tour manager at the time, I'll never forget that when he turned around to us and said, the brakes aren't working. I had a million things going through my head, but it was, I just remember looking up at the bus and thinking about what I could grab onto, and there was nothing. So it was definitely one of those moments on tour that you'll never forget about.
And the funny thing is too is that we had to sleep on the side of the mountain that night because nobody was brave enough to drive the bus down the thing. So then we just parked on the side of the road of this mountain and slept there. So now the next morning we wake up and we're going down the mountain real slow, and all the trucks that are real comfortable driving the mountain are beeping at us, they're freaking out, and we're like, we're not gonna go any faster. So finally, a truck comes in front of us, and then he flips over. So we were stuck.
18-wheeler, a
It
huge
was
truck.
like a horrible one. It was like it like actually flipped. I mean, it was in like a river. Like it was.
So we were stuck on
It
this
scared
mountain
us,
for
you know what I
another 10 hours, and it was right in front of us, right? Because the truck drivers had to be on a schedule. So when we had to finally turn, and pull over, they were speeding so fast, and then all of a sudden this thing flipped right in front of us. It was nuts.
So we saw it flip right in front of us, and then we were stuck on the mountain for another 10 hours because the ambulance had to come and, take care of the situation. So I think that's one of the tour stories that we'll never forget. Touring as a band, our 4th show probably, and, we almost died. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, that's a crazy story. I'm glad you guys are okay. Does the audience have any questions? Raise your hand if you do, I'll bring it over. I have a question. So based on a lot of your content, you guys seem very influenced by aliens and the paranormal. Could you talk a bit about how those influences started, what got you interested in the paranormal, specifically aliens?
Yeah, well, our band American Grim, we always knew when we started American Grim is that we wanted to be a darker project, and we wanted to kind of go back and forth with different parts of like the paranormal ideas and community. So if you listen to our album Ultra Black, we have different songs about ghosts and mostly aliens. I think aliens and like extraterrestrials are our biggest influence. And before we were able to tour the country and be a band, my parents live across the street from a farm. So when we were kids having band practice in old projects, we would stand at the end of the driveway and look up at the stars, and we would think we're seeing things. We're like, oh, look at that alien.
I think that might be something right there, just almost even creating it because we're so interested in seeing things. So
yeah, so I just think that from us growing up and playing in the garage and then standing at the end of my father's driveway believing that we're seeing UFOs, I think it always stuck with us. And then when we started to tour, our tour manager at the time was really into a radio.
Conspiracy theories too.
Real conspiracy theory guy. And there was a famous radio show called Art Bell Coast to Coast. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Yeah, so he's a real famous conspiracy guy, and we would drive around in the middle of the night and just listen to this show. So we always pulled a lot of influence together. It's always been the topic that I think we always stuck to.
absolutely.
Is the paranormal, aliens, mostly.
Yeah, it's always the underlining message. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so whenever we write a song, we're like, how does this tie to aliens?
Yes.
Any questions from the audience? Let me know.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. So since you are very into the paranormal, have you ever had any paranormal experiences? And my other question is, what's your favorite horror movie?
Ooh, good question.
Good questions.
Okay, so Mike and I, again, we're from the States, so we might be talking about some places that you're unfamiliar of, but I do believe everybody here knows where Florida is.